This was supposed to be simple. Take an existing cosplay, modify it with a bunch of upgrades, and go show it off at a con. But sometimes I need to remember my ability to make mistake after mistake after mistake.
They were just rough with my luggage, man. Ow. So somehow this part caught on fire.
How am I supposed to clean this thing? This was like the worst mistake of my life.
Well, yeah, they ripped the camera off.
But in the end, I think the final project was worth every single headache. But I need to take you back to how this all started because it was pretty much just like last year. Going to MAGFest and not planning to cosplay? Check. See something on the internet that makes you want to hastily scramble and make a cosplay? Check-a-rooney. And this year, it's seeing Bunny Bee's Tenna cosplay. And I thought this was really special because of how animated of a character Tenna is. And for those of you who don't know who Tenna is but are still watching the video, he's basically the main character of Chapter 3 in Deltarune. He's weird, wacky, charismatic, has a bunch of backstory. He makes you play his TV show games while also having a TV head. He's groovy, he's never glooby, he's Mr. Antenna. That's not exactly a comprehensive overview of his character, but let's just say there's valid reasons for the internet obsessing over him. And thankfully Bunny Bee archived a live stream where they talked about their process, which after scrubbing through it, I got the gist of how everything was made. How this setup works is they slide an iPad into the front, swaps through the animations with a control ring, and can see into the outside world with an endoscope camera. It's a pretty dang smart design, however they were hoping to make a version 2.0 someday. This is because the iPad was very front-heavy, and it restricted how much customization they could do. The endoscope screen was also right in front of their face, which not only made it difficult to see the outside world, but also extended the helmet to be a bit longer than expected. So I messaged Bunny Bee offering to redo everything with the Raspberry Pi, and add a bunch of my own improvements. And thankfully they agreed to help out because I only had a week until my flight would leave to MAGFest. So she sent me over all the 3D files, and I got to work remixing it for Tenna 2.0. Then in Bambu Studio, I laid out all the parts to be ready for printing. And let me tell you, this was the one part of this entire process that went smoothly. Because once again, I'm printing everything out on my Bambu P2S and AMS2 Pro. And let me tell you, I'm always happy when they sponsor a project like this, because time and time again on this channel, you've seen how this combo helps me make my projects into real life. Whether I'm printing out a 5-foot-tall anime girl centaur robot to protect my house, or the shell of a custom Kirby Air Rider unicycle, the P2S has been my go-to for fast and reliable prints. And why is that? Well, it's because of its second-gen technology, with its advanced extruder, consistency with temperature preservation, and even better failure detection that you can actually set the sensitivity for. But it can also detect issues before the print even starts. Because let me tell you, I forget to remove the purge tower sometimes. And if I would have left this on any other printer, it probably would have just died. I also appreciate how quickly I can swap into my 0.6 nozzle, because sometimes I need to get prints done as fast as possible. And of course there's the AMS2 Pro, which not only allows me to print things out in different colors, but also keeps my filament dry, so every print will come out as best as possible. It also really helps with some of these big prints, because when a roll of filament runs out, it automatically swaps to a fresh one. And also with the updated touchscreen UI, it makes everything from increasing the speed or drying the filament a breeze with just a few taps. So if you've been looking to start 3D printing, or have been looking for an upgrade, check out my link in the description to get started printing with the P2S and AMS2 Pro. Thanks again to Bambu for sponsoring the video. Now let's get to printing. Now Bambu also supplied me with a bunch of PLA Tough, which I know has worked really well in the past, so we're going to print with that to make sure everything comes out sturdy. And with all the pieces of the head printed, now it was time for the accessories. First off, I printed off this microphone that's going to perfectly cradle this game controller, so I can control all the sounds and the visuals on the screen. Next up, I looked at what I was going to do for Tenna's shoes, and let's just say buying yellow dress shoes was not cheap. So instead, I printed off some shoe covers using Bambu's flexible TPU, and they fit perfectly over a pair of some Goodwill shoes, and should flex along with my steps. Next up, we have the nose, which I printed out in Bambu's translucent PETG. I really liked how this turned out because it reminds me of a Fresnel lens that you would find in one of those old projection TVs. And finally, Bunny Bee also provided me with some files for his belt clip and TV badge. And I think it was the perfect use case for Bambu's silk gold filament. And after spray painting all the helmet parts, it's time to talk electronics. 4x3 aspect screens are kind of hard to come by at this size, so I thought I could use an old repurposed laptop screen, But uh-oh, it's way too dim. Well, maybe I could open it up and add some LEDs on the side? Sure, yeah, that works.
If you don't break the fragile LCD layer.
And with 2 days left to go before my flight, the one screen that would work made me almost $200 poorer. And unfortunately, this thing was pretty heavy, even after removing the shell. But I'll have to worry about that later, because right now I have to seal in the screen along with the Raspberry Pi and the Pi camera. I went with the Raspberry Pi 5, not only because I'm displaying on 2 screens, but also because I have an entire graphics user interface that's going to be on this bad boy. These are the X-Real Air glasses. You may have seen them on Bringa Studios' discrete gaming video.
Never have I ever felt so comfortable gaming at CarMax.
And I've owned these for over a year without ever using them, so it's finally time to justify one of my worst purchases. With these glasses, not only can I see the live camera feed, but I also know what the main screen is displaying. I also programmed a quick chat style menu that can be controlled with the microphone's game controller. Bunnybee provided me with the original Tenna's animations and memes, but I added a bunch of other things as well. We'll get to that later though.
Can you tell that I'm cramming and it's the final day before my flight leaves? Wah!
Right now, it's time to glue together the rest of the 3D prints, and here comes the part I was dreading. You see, the 3D print isn't actually designed to fit around your head. I need to take this bike helmet and make it as slim as possible. But I didn't exactly have the right tools for the job.
Okay. Let's do this, I guess. I am not enjoying this. This is nasty.
And as it turns out, I still didn't have the right tools for the job.
Okay, how am I supposed to clean this thing? This was like the worst mistake of my life. I think I should have thought this through a little bit better.
Thankfully, the wire cutters I just bought just so happen to be able to do the job.
Ah! Alright, going from here to uncontrollable speed right there did not make me comfortable.
And putting this thing on for the first time.
It appears the weight in the front is a problem.
And my flight leaves tomorrow, so I guess it's time for me to go and
save big money at Menards.
One quickly designed counterweight holder later.
Well, good news. If I use all of them except for these 3, it is perfectly counterbalanced. I feel like this is heavy, but it's doable.
Now, there's not much to talk about for the rest of the costume, except for these jacket coattails, where I'm using some steel wire to make them posable and bendable like in the game. And yes, that's duct tape. We all know I don't know how to use a sewing machine. This was the final thing because my flight was about to leave in a few hours. And even though earlier in the day I couldn't get the Pi 5 to reliably run on battery power, I figured that would just be a problem I could solve in my hotel room. Because after all, I did have a full day before the con in my hotel room that overlooked the Pentagon.
Do you know that there's a McDonald's in the Pentagon? Guys, like and subscribe if you think I should go eat at the McDonald's in the Pentagon.
And I figured it would only take that one day to troubleshoot, which was already unrealistic, and was made much worse by one little issue.
Oh, things did not make it in one piece. Yeah, so everything that could have broken got broken. They were just rough with my luggage, man. Well, yeah, they ripped the camera off. Well, more bad news. This has been completely destroyed. What powers the actual thing has been completely destroyed. I can't power it on. I tried shorting the power button. That did nothing. Well, the monitor's broken. The camera's broken. I think it's about time to throw in the towel for MAGFest. Is what I would say if I was a quitter. We're ordering new parts to the hotel, baby!
Maniacal laughter aside, the new parts did show up on time, but with me still facing some issues with the power, it was too little too late.
Yeah, I stayed up as long as I could last night trying to fix this. Tried it in the morning. Pretty sure this is mission failure. Obviously, this is my fault for not packing correctly and getting everything fixated, but yeah.
So it was finally time to wave the white flag. And yeah, I just haven't felt this defeated before. I knew it was pretty ambitious and last minute of me to be doing all this, but I thought I still had it in me. So yeah, this MAGFest, there was no dancing with the other Tennas, just enjoying other people's cosplays. But there were still some bright sides to the weekend, like enjoying my friend's ocarina performance and hosting an intro to 3D printing panel. And by the time the panel started, the room was packed. So thank you to everyone who showed up. You made the weekend completely worth it. And when I got home, I decided I was not going to give up on this project. Because even if I couldn't share with MAGFest, I could still share everything with Bunny Bee and the rest of the world. In fact, I had a call scheduled with them in a few days, so I had to get working and fast. The helmet became separated again on the flight home, which isn't that big of a surprise, but that's fine because I wanted to swap out the screen for the lighter one anyways. Now, a couple things happened off screen, like this component on one of the screen drivers board just catching fire for no reason. Then there was me knocking my helmet off the table, resulting in the HDMI port being broken, so I had to drive 90 minutes down to Micro Center and 90 minutes back because the call was scheduled for later that day and I needed a way to convert HDMI to VGA and aux. Fun stuff! And right before the call, everything seemed to magically power up. So it was time for me to suit up and finally show this thing off. Thank you so much for helping me out on this weird journey that I've been going down with this. What you set up initially is awesome and fantastic, and I hope that the improvements I made will make you proud. But what I thought was a show and tell call quickly became a humiliation ritual, because every time I put on the helmet, something would make the entire thing shut down. And because my stubborn brain just thought it was something wrong with the power cord, or the camera ribbon cable, or some interference from the antenna wire, I kept trying again and again
For over 2 hours.
In 3, 2, 1. You've got to be.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And once again, I had to admit defeat. But I couldn't give up when I was so close. And finally, 2 weeks later, I finally found out what was happening. You see, I was powering the Pi with this LiPo battery, and the TV screen with this battery bank. It turns out this LiPo battery sucks, and this battery bank was powerful enough to run both of these things at the same time, as long as I had the TV screen off while I was booting the Pi. Regardless, that means it's finally time. What time exactly? And here was my first attempt to try and recreate some of Tenna's poses from the game. Just keep in mind it's not easy to move in this thing. Now here's a quick rundown of the features. Holding down on the D-pad toggles Tenna's talking, and this also works for all of the facial animations. But obviously the coolest one is the new animation that Bunny Bee sent over specifically for this version. There's also a selection of videos and memes it can play. But a new feature I added was the ability to play music. Not only from the original soundtrack, but I also stuck in a few covers from Note Block and Nah Tony. And as the final cherry on top, the antenna can be bent for any pose that I would need. And now I can finally say I am so happy with how this turned out. And yes, Bunny Bee was also able to react to it as well.
Oh my goodness, wow, the animation looks so good. It's a little surreal seeing like the 3D model that my friend and I made and my animations put together with like the last piece of the puzzle, putting it all together. It looks so good. That I'm so excited to like try and use this as well. To see this all come together, like I'm very grateful that you included me in this project. It's making me very proud to be a Deltarune fan. I'm not exactly sure what else to say other than like this is just super cool.
And since I held them hostage in a call for almost 3 hours, I figured the least I could do was let them plug what they're doing nowadays.
I go by Bunny Bee online. My name's Ash. I do cosplay stuff. I also am starting a VTuber channel under Bunny Bee as well. And if you want to see my art stuff or like my vending stuff, I have that in Cafe Piesco. Thank you again. Bye.
Well, thank you, Bunny Bee, for helping me out with this project. And of course, thank you to the patrons, especially Jameson Zabalos, Marco Carini, Evan Timmerman, Pow Pow, Zebramang, Sally and Dave, Ulysses Mora, Don Necco, Grandma Watson, Connor Rhodes, and X9 5 times.